am Michelle Clark. I'm the Executive Director of the King County Flood Control District, and I'd like to thank you for coming to the groundbreaking of what is going to be our biggest project to date, the Lower Russell Road Levee Setback Project. The speakers today will be Mayor Ralph from the City of Kent, as well as Vice Chair Dave Upthegrove and Chair Reagan Dunn of the King County Flood Control District. Before the program gets started, I just wanted to thank some of the elected officials who are here today. If I have missed you, please accept my sincerest apologies. Today we have Senator Kaiser and Representative Intman from the Washington State Legislature. We have former Kent Mayor Suzette Cook. We have Covington Council Member Marla Moon, who also serves as the co-chair of the Management Committee of RIA 9, the RIA that has jurisdiction in this area. We have Kent City Councilmember Brenda Fincher, as well as Kent City Councilmember Tony Troutner. And we also have Mark Isaacson, who is the Division Director of King County Wastewater, who used to be the Division Director of Water and Land Resources when this project was in its inception and helped get it started. We also have with us Christy True, who is the Director of King County Department of Natural Resources and Parks. And we have Tim Laporte, who is the Kent Public Works Director. If I have forgotten anybody, I apologize. And now I think we should get our program started with Mayor Ralph.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to Kent. We are so excited to be here. I am going to lead with a quote from Michelle. We are going to construction in 2019. That is a real thing. This project has been a long time coming and an absolute study in interagency cooperation and compromise. It's that idea of if everybody leaves the table feeling like they lost a little, then that means everybody won. And I feel like that's where we got to in this project. I'm going to give you a few details about the project before I turn it over to council members Upthegrove and Dunn. It's a 1.4 mile long levee project, and it's one of the largest projects the City of Kent has ever partnered on, and the largest project Kent has partnered with the King County Flood Control District on. It's going to transform this area along the river between 212th and Veterans Way. Other recent Kent and King County Flood Control District levee projects include Briscoe-Desmond levee, the Boeing levee to the north, Upper Russell Road levee to the south, near the Lakes community, the levee along Riverbend Golf Course and Foster Park, Holly Road levees near South City limits. So you can get a theme here, right? The river runs through the middle of the Kent Valley, and we would not be able to protect it if it were not for all of the support from the King County Flood Control District. So we are eternally grateful for that. We are so excited to see the first phase of this project going to construction, and that'll include the flood wall and a water main project. Once fully completed, the project will include flood protection through the construction of the flood wall and an earthen levee, habitat restoration, along with salmon habitat back channels, so those little rest areas that we talk about for salmon as they're going upstream, native plantings, large wood structures in the river. Marla, I know we're excited about that, right? Those are all the salmon projects. And the relocation of Van Doren's Park, which is the park that's just behind us, and that's going to be a spectacular park when it's done. This is a multi-benefit park, right? We're able to work on flood protection, which is the first and most important thing when it comes to flood control projects, but also the habitat restoration and then the people part of it. It's important that this Van Doren's Landing is one of our most loved and used parks, so the ability to have that park and folks being able to access that is absolutely key. We've partnered on other environmental projects like Riverview Park, Lieber Homestead Back Channel, and Downey Farmstead. It's another big project that you'll see if you're coming through Kent, and it's all about balancing those things. The Kent Valley is well known as an industrial manufacturing center, and it's the second largest industrial center on the West Coast. That means that there's a lot of business and enterprise that we need to protect, and that's part of what this does. It provides jobs for our region, is a prime corridor in the Puget Sound for movement of materials, but it's also a growing center for research and development and the manufacturing of rockets. So again, we've got a lot to protect here in this valley, and this is a huge piece of that. The reach of the Green River Trail is one of the few remaining in Kent where pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles share space. This project is going to separate that trail. So if you've ever driven along this road, it's pretty dicey if you're someone that's walking or on a bicycle. It's a narrow, old road, and this project will help separate that so that we'll have pedestrian and bicycle safety as well. The park, like I talked a little bit about, is going to be rebuilt with new picnic shelter and other recreational amenities like a new pickleball court, right? Pickleball is a big deal, and Kent is one of the main hubs for that, so we're really excited to be able to have that there. And there's also going to be a new boat ramp for carried boats built for kayaks and canoes down here to access the river. So again, Marla, you're winning in this project today, aren't you? So those are a few details about the project. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to Councilmember Up the Grove to talk a little bit about the flood controls part in this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good morning. It is sort of a gray and cold day, but I would like to ask you to join me in feeling a little bit of warmth, and join me in feeling some joy, and join me in feeling a little bit of hope, because at a time when, quite frankly, our federal government is a little bit dysfunctional, we're showing here today that our local governments can work together and get something done. And I think that's exciting, and we're doing it in a way that's consistent with our values here in South King County. Here in South King County, we value environmental protection. We value the quality of life that comes from parks and recreation. We value public safety, and we value fiscal responsibility. And this project embodies all of those values. And in addition to serving as the King County Council member from this area, I serve as the vice chair of the King County Flood Control District. And a lot of people don't know what that is. King County Flood Control District is a special purpose government that the state allows counties to create, much like a school district is responsible for building schools. A fire district has the sole responsibility to respond to fires. The flood district is responsible for providing flood protection. And it's a challenging mission because the flood control district does it all throughout King County, and it's funded through a small property tax levy. And when we project how much money is going to be coming into the flood district and compare it with our projection of the costs of flood protection for the most basic levels, we have a shortfall. So we need to prioritize and we need to be efficient. Why does flood protection matter so much? And it matters for a really important reason. In addition to the obvious public safety needs, some of the flood levees in the Green River Valley are not in tip-top condition. And if we don't continue to make progress to get those levees repaired and accredited by the federal government, we face a real risk in the future of homeowners and business owners potentially having to pay costly flood insurance. But even more troubling, we potentially face the risk of development restrictions that would have the effect of literally throwing a wet blanket over the economy of South King County. So my top priority as an elected official always has been, how do we strengthen our economy, provide jobs for people so they can afford housing and childcare. And the best way to do that in my role right now, I see, is to get the levees in the Green River system accredited as soon as possible. And that's what we're doing today. But that's not the only issue facing the Green River system. The Green River is the home to Chinook salmon. Those are our iconic, what we know of as the king salmon, run through the Green River. And they are listed on the Endangered Species Act as a threatened species. And they're not doing well in the Green River. The salmon are dying, and they're dying because the water's too warm. And the water's too warm because we've wiped out the habitat. And the Flood Control District has been a partner in addressing those issues in several ways. One, we give direct money, millions of dollars a year, to the watershed groups for habitat restoration throughout the county. Secondly, we always try to go above and beyond in our projects, exceeding the minimum environmental requirements. But most importantly, are the opportunities that present themselves, such as today. And when we have available land and when we have funding partners, we can, instead of building a traditional flood wall, we can set the river back and restore the channels for fish and restore habitat. And that's what's happening here today. And it's challenging because the Lower Green River is a very urbanized river system with privately owned property, businesses and homes along it. So here, again, we need to have available willing partners, and the City of Kent was that partner. Much of this land was owned by the City of Kent. It was a park. And I remember Councilmember Dunn and I sitting with then Mayor Suzette Cook and raising this idea with her and having the discussion of the pros and cons. Thanks to her leadership and the council at the time, and the continued leadership of our current mayor, Dana Ralph, the city jumped into this as a willing partner. The other thing I said was necessary is funding partners to make this happen, to do these exciting environmental aspects to the flood work. And we're fortunate that the state of Washington is a funding partner in this today to the tune of $7 million to help with the habitat portion, $4.9 million from the Floodplains by Design program. That would not have happened had our local legislative delegation, led by Senator Karen Kaiser, who was a leader on the Capital Budget Committee, going to bat, working in a bipartisan way with the other elected officials to be able to deliver those projects. And as was noted, Senator Kaiser is here with us today, and I would like to recognize her and give her a round of applause for making this possible. One exciting thing to report is that the voters recently approved the King County Parks Levee, and I was proud to include in that levy a new program at King County that will provide between $22 and $24 million for habitat elements of multi-benefit flood projects. What that means is it's funding to partner with the flood control district so we can do more of these multi-benefit projects. The analogy I always like to use that people know is when you're tearing up the street, it's a good time to replace the pipes. If you're coming in and doing flood work, it's a good time to do the habitat work too. And that's what we hope to do more of in the future. And I know Senator Kaiser and I have already talked about what are some of the opportunities where the state can continue to partner in that regard. So we ought to be excited today. This is at the end of the day, this is a real positive story. It's about flood protection. It's about salmon habitat restoration, and it's about expanding recreational opportunities. And it's about getting things done at the local level. So congratulations to all the partners, and it's my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the King County Flood Control District, King County Council Member and King County Flood Control District Board of Supervisors Chair, Reagan Dunn.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. My wife has a different title for me, I can assure you. Hey, you know they say, or as the saying goes, success has 1,000 fathers and failure is an orphan, right? This is an example of success, but that's kind of a gender-based. Yeah, it is. I think in this case, success has 1,000 mothers and failure is an orphan because Suzette, Karen, others, Mayor Ralph sat down, and at a time when we really decided that we wanted to make this the most beautiful, environmentally friendly, and safe urban river corridor anywhere in the United States of America, we decided we needed to sit down and show trust to all of the other groups that were working with us on this. It includes the City of Kent, the State of Washington, both the Ecology Department, Puget Sound Partnership, other agencies, local governments like King County, Water and Land Resources Division, and many others, that we could work together on a major project like this and get it done working together with a great outcome for all of those standards that I just mentioned before. And you know, this all happened in the beginning of 2013 is when we really started this, sort of back of a napkin sketch on it. And it's going to do all of the things that the previous speakers have talked about, but it's also going to provide protection for a 500-year level storm event. So the kind of storm that comes through this area once every 500 years. And why does that matter? And Dave alluded to it. 1/8 of the state's economy occurs in this river valley. As Dana said, it's the second largest industrial and manufacturing center on the west coast of the United States. If we have currently even 120 or 130 year flood event, that would devastate the state's economy. And so we have a responsibility not only to protect the economy, to protect lives and all of the environmental interests we have here by doing this. And so I really want to thank Dana Ralph, Suzette Cook, for their leadership and partnership. I want to thank the project team from Water and Land Resources Division. Mark Isaacson is here. He's now doing wastewater across the hall, but he was there at the very inception. Christy True and her team as well. I got a new chief of staff. He's day 4. He says he's going to track me on my talking points, so I'm going to stay with my talking points. That's good. But I missed a couple folks, some council members as well, Brenda Fincher and Tony Troutner as well, for your great leadership as well on this issue. Where's Carrie Bowman? There you are. Over there, Carrie, senior environmental scientist from King County Water and Land Resources Division. The concept for this project came out of a conversation Carrie had with our consultants at the time. And I'm going to show you what that, you didn't know I was going to do this, did you? Here's what it looks like. You'll see all these the side channels. You just got a main river with heavy embankments right now. There's a park next to it. We're going to change that. This was created as a result of Carrie's work, and it's a blueprint for final project design. And so I just want to thank you, Carrie, for your leadership and creativity and energy and coming up with this. It's pretty cool to have a job where you can sort of sketch something out and then all of a sudden $52 million later, and a lot of hard work, you get to do that. Good job. A lot of other partners. I'm on the thank you tour here. Well, I really want to thank the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe for their contributions in the habitat work and their comments on overall project design. We really appreciate your partnership, and there's nothing more important from my perspective than working with you to make sure that we honor and respect your interests as well, because they are also our interests. We really look forward to continuing the work we've done through the Lower Green River Corridor Flood Hazard Management Plan and the PEIS process that used to be called the SWIFT process. I want to thank our state legislators as well for their incredible work. Former council member Julia Patterson, who's chaired this board before I did, has been great. Floodplains by Design, Puget Sound Partnership, Department of Ecology, Ryan 9. Marla, for your great work on this as well. Also, can't forget our federal partners, the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as King County CFT program. So, again, failure has 1,000 mothers. No, excuse me. Success has 1,000 mothers. Sorry, Mom. Yeah, I'm working on it. Sorry, Mike. This is a great program. It's awesome. We are really proud of what we've done. It is $52 million that is going to go a long ways towards the beginning of a corridor process that will, again, make this the most environmentally friendly and safest corridor river system in the United States.
1, 2, 3.